In this video, we're going to be condensing logarithms. So we want to go from any expanded form to a condensed form. So we're going to write these rules for what's expanded and then make it condensed. Because our final answer should be completely condensed. So something expanded would be ln of m plus ln of n. If you have addition, you want to rewrite that as being multiplication on the inside. So you would multiply m times n all inside one log. If you have ln of m minus ln of n, if you have any subtraction, anything subtracted goes in the denominator. So ln of m divided by n. And then lastly, if you have something multiplied out front, p times ln of m, you're going to bring that inside as being a power. So there's our three expanded that we should be able to change to a condensed form. So let's look at some examples of this. We have log of 25 plus log of 2. We want to write it all inside one log, and that addition really means multiplication. Addition means multiplication, so we're going to use that first property and say this is 25 times 2. Which means we have log of 50. I'm going to grab my calculator and plug in log of that number, see if it ends up being a decimal, then I'll leave it as log of 50. If it is a nice whole number, I'll write it as that. It does come out to be a decimal though, so we're going to leave that final answer as log of 50. If we move over to the one next to it, we have log of x minus 2, and then we have minus on the outside. We have two logs that we want to condense into one. Since they were subtracted, they're going to be divided here. So we have x minus 2, and since we have minus 5x minus 3, it goes in the denominator as 5x minus 3. Anything subtracted goes in the denominator. And we leave it just like that. Working our way down, we have two ln's that we want to condense into one. So we're going to write ln, and we're going to condense it. So they were added. Added means multiplication. So we're going to have to multiply these. So we're going to have 3x plus 5 times x plus 1. So we're going to actually have to multiply these out. The division one was nice. We didn't actually end up having to simplify anything with that one before this, but now we have to actually distribute this. So we can FOIL or distribute 3x times x is 3x squared for my first. My outer 3x times 1 is going to be 3x. My inner 5 times x is 5x. And my last 5 times 1 is 5. So we end up with 3x squared plus 3 and 5 is going to give us 8x plus 5 for our final answer for that. So when it's multiplication, we actually have to go and multiply it out. If we look over at the next one, we have three ln's that we want to write as one ln. So we're going to write one ln and put everything inside it. So first thing we have is ln of 4. So does the 4 go in the top or the bottom? Since it's positive, 4 goes in the top. Here we have a minus though, ln of 30. So that tells us that 30 goes in the denominator. Then we have plus, which tells us y is going to go in the numerator. So we have y in the numerator, and we need to bring in that power to be a 2. If it's multiplied out front, it condenses to be a power. We're going to grab our calculator and use that math enter function. So we're going to do ln, and we want to see, does 4 divided by 30 reduce at all? 4 divided by 30 ends up being 2 divided by 15. So we want to always try to reduce any fractions by plugging them in and hitting math enter. 4 divided by 30 is 2 over 15. So you have 2y squared over 15. Looking at this next part, we have a lot going on here. I have to bring in a power 2, a power 4, and a 1/3 power, which is going to be a root. So I want it all inside 1 log base 3. So the first term is positive, which tells me x goes in the top as x squared. Bring in the 2 power. The next term has a minus, so I'm going to put that y in the denominator. And it's going to be raised to the 4th power. Lastly, we have plus the z term, so z must go in the top since it's added, and it's to the 1/3 power, which really means the 3rd root. So we have x squared times the 3rd root of z in the top, and since the y term was subtracted, it's put in the bottom, and it's still to that 4th power. Looking next to that one, we have some more powers to be pulling in. We're going to condense, so it's going to all go inside 1 log. I have 3 to the 2 power, and they're added, which means, is it going to be multiplied or divided? Addition means multiplication, so I'm going to multiply by 2 is being raised to the 4th power. I'm going to grab my calculator and figure out what is 3 squared times 2 to the 4th. That gives me 144, and then I can double check. If you do ln of 144, it comes out to be a crazy decimal, so we just leave it like that. All right, so our last 2 here, we have another log, and we have x plus 1 that is going to go on the inside. And since it's added with the next one, addition means multiplication. So we're going to multiply by x minus 4. So it looks a lot like letter B, where you have things multiplied, so you actually have to multiply them out. So I'm going to write log, and FOIL here, we have x times x is x squared, x times negative 4 is negative 4x, and my inner terms, 1 times x is 1x, and 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And now this wouldn't be quite my final answer yet because I have x terms to combine. So my final answer is going to be log of x squared minus 3x minus 4. We have that negative 4x plus 1, which gives us negative 3x. All right, so last one here. We're going to put 3 ln's as 1 ln. Condense it all inside 1. Anything positive or added is going to go in the top. Anything subtracted is going to go to the bottom. And any power that's written out front, we need to raise it on the inside. So we have 3 powers to bring in. So we're going to put that x in the top since it was a positive 3 ln of x. So x goes in the top to the 3rd power. My next one, ln of y. Y is going to go in the top because it was added. And it's a 1/2 power, which means the square root. So I have x squared times the square root of y. And then my next term is z minus 3, and it's subtracted. So that means z minus 3 must go in the denominator. Z minus 3 goes in the denominator, and it's to that 2 power. So we bring in the power 3, ln of x cubed, bring in the 1/2 power, we have the square root of y, and then since we subtracted, we put the z minus 3 in the denominator, and we bring in that power to be 2.